There were 4 pillars that are now nearly completely destroyed. The 4 had hieroglyphic inscriptions on them, some of which read, "God Osiris, the god of the underground."
Archaeologists have found the Osiris Shaft beneath the sands of Giza. This site is more than just a burial ground. It has waterlogged rooms, large stone coffins, and human remains placed in unusual positions. The discoveries here show us more about history and blend legends with reality. The shaft displays remarkable engineering and strange rituals connected to the story of Osiris's dismemberment. It challenges our understanding of ancient Egypt, making history more complicated. The legends come to life, from Herodotus to rediscovery. People around the Giza plateau have shared eerie stories similar to ghost tales for centuries. Local guides would tell visitors about hollow spots beneath Khafra's pyramid causeway, and villagers would speak of flooded tunnels deep in the sand. While travelers wrote down these tales, many dismissed them as old legends and tall tales meant to make desert hikes more interesting, though they didn't seem credible to scholars. One name kept coming up: Herodotus. This Greek historian traveled to Egypt around 450 BCE and wrote about a hidden tomb under Giza. He described a chamber surrounded by water with a stone island in the middle that held a coffin. His account sounded more like a story than actual research. Egyptologists were skeptical, often referring to him as the father of history, but privately calling him the father of lies due to his dramatic style. Despite the skepticism, myths have a way of sticking around. Locals in Giza would swear the ground felt soft in certain places, with children stomping to hear hollow sounds and people near the causeway talking about deep shafts leading to dark water. Tourists walked by, unaware of the whispers beneath their feet. In 1933, the legend underwent a serious investigation. Salim Hassan, a skilled Egyptian archaeologist, was digging in Giza when he discovered a vertical shaft carved into the bedrock beneath Khafra's causeway. At first, it seemed unremarkable, maybe just a dry well or an unfinished tomb. However, as they descended, they found a chamber and another shaft that went even deeper. This matched Herodotus's old descriptions. Hassan was intrigued, but the site posed a challenge: water. Groundwater seeped in, creating muddy pools in the lower levels. Hassan worked hard, using pumps and staying up around the clock for 4 years to clear the water. Despite his efforts, the desert kept flooding the site, and he eventually had to stop. He didn't leave empty-handed. He mapped the site, showing a shaft nearly 30 meters deep, multi-level rock carvings, rectangular rooms with 26th dynasty artifacts like sarcophagi, and signs of a tunnel under the causeway. The site dates back to the Sate era, around 600 BCE, but it does not match the watery paradise in Herodotus' story. The site, now called the Osiris Shaft, faded into the background. Locals used the open hole as a well, and children played in it during the summer. Sightseers visiting the pyramids walked by, unaware of the 30-meter mystery below them. Decades passed, and the story was forgotten. Advancements in technology gave new hope in the late 90s. Dr. Zahi Hawass, a prominent figure in Egyptology, dedicated himself to investigating what Hassan couldn't. In 1999, he returned with better pumps and a strong team ready to explore. For Hawass, this wasn't just a project. It was a chance to bring the old legend back to life and discover what Herodotus knew. First level, slipping into the void. The area they discovered was not very exciting at first. 6 meters below the causeway, they entered a small chamber made of limestone. The walls were plain, no paintings, no spells for the afterlife, and no symbols of gods. Just bare, chalky rock. At first glance, it seemed dull and disappointing. Usually, ancient Egyptian tombs have some writing or offerings. A space felt strange, almost like it was meant to be that way. The silence pressed in, thick like stale air. It felt less like a burial site and more like a waiting room, leading you from the surface to an unknown next step. There was no rest here, only a push to go deeper. The deep shaft below felt like a challenge. The room was not the goal. It made you question your courage before going down. The conditions were harsh for explorers. A narrow ladder creaked over the stone, and every creak seemed to say, "Turn back." Ahead, darkness swallowed any light from the torches. The heat made breathing hard, and the only choice was to go down. Even without knowing what lay ahead, it was a claustrophobe's worst nightmare. But Hawass wouldn't give up. The team gathered at the edge, shining their lights into the dark, just stone and shadows. They heard distant sounds of water from below, reminders of Hassan's old challenges. The walls were empty, but they seemed to say, "Your search isn't finished yet." Second level, boneyard and stone giants. Another 12 meters down, air chills, walls slick up, that prickly wrong vibe sharpens. Flashlights punch through, and whoa, less crypt, more stage for some ancient horror show. Rectangular cutout, walls sliced razor neat, sides gaping niches like hungry maws in the lime, and jammed in them, the headliners, 2 sarcophagi, beasts so beefy modern winches would whine. One's crammed sideways, plugging what looks like an eastbound crawl. Not storage, that's a stay out sign, etched in stone. Weirdest bit? The boxes are mute, 0 etchings, no god tags, no owner claims. Just dumb slabs. Floor, crunch of bone under boot. Not tidy skeletons, but scattershot, potsherds and fragments. Closer look, creepy twist, mostly right halves. Arms, ribs, legs, no lefts. The orthodoc on call confirms that there is no fluke. Intentional chop, boom. Osiris myth slams into dirt like a freight train. Legends got the god sliced by brother Set, bits flung across Egypt. Wife Isis rounds them up for the comeback. Dismemberment wasn't fluff, core to their afterlife playbook. But here's the rub. Egyptians geeked on full-body prep for eternity. Mummify every scrap, 'cause incomplete, soul starves. Funerary chants, body part roll calls to juice the bits. So what's the play here? Why hack folks half-assed? If wholeness were gospel, this room's preaching fracture. Ritual nod to Osiris's chop shop fate. Dark twist on the death-rebirth cycle, or some fringe cult flipping the script. Sarcophagi and the odd, black, tarry streaks, mold? Nah, lab says resins, oils, beeswax, bitumen mash. Embalming brew, slathered thick, not oops, on purpose. Black to Egyptians, cosmic gold, Nile silt hue, renewal's black, Osiris's shade, underworld boss, drenching 'em, baptism in rebirth vibes, chaining straight to the gods tear down and tune up, logistics, head scratcher deluxe. 10 to 15 tonners down a man-squeeze chute? Insane. Carved in situ? Sand ramps for inch-by-inch drops, ropes and sweat? Modern pros would high-five over the how-to. Yet there they squat, mocking math. Rapid, surgical slices, misplaced monsters, half-cadavers bucking body love, alchemical goop dripping rebirth. Shaft's no snoozer tomb. It's a time-warp mashup, begging, what else are we missing? Third level, the buried flood. The team's toast signals they've hit the third drop, diving into a 30-meter deep shaft. The pumps rumble constantly against the seepage as the dry desert heat gives way to a damp, choking atmosphere. Mud clings to their boots, and the ladder feels like a struggle. The shaft opens into a cave that swallows light. They step into a calm, black pool. Their torches reflect off the surface, creating a still, eerie mirror. The quiet breaks with the sound of the pumps and drips echoing like ghostly footsteps. In the center of the pool, a stone rectangle rises up, a mythical aisle. On it lies a massive granite sarcophagus, partly submerged, its lid coated in minerals from ages of water. This colossal rock weighs between 10 and 15 tons. Herodotus might think of a pharaoh on a lake isle, a cliché for ages, but here they face a stone legend emerging from the darkness of Giza. The real mystery isn't just the shock, it's how a stone this size came through a tiny opening. They see no pulleys or lifts, leading them to wonder if ancient workers used strength or techniques we no longer understand. 4 pillars surround the sarcophagus, not for support, but as ritual guardians. Water is not an enemy here, it serves a purpose. This reflects the Duat underworld, a twin to the Nun flood, representing chaos and rebirth. Stepping in means stepping into a myth where one's soul could be renewed. The waterline shifts, connected to the Nile's cycles. The flood was not a foe, but life-giving for the Egyptians, bringing fertile silt. Placing a box in this water is a tribute to Osiris and his victory over death. When they crack open the lid, it reveals nothing, just empty stone. This silence feels heavier than treasure. No pharaoh remains inside. Instead, it suggests a cenotaph for Osiris, the first dead and the first to rise, who governed the underworld. The water symbolizes rebirth, while the pillars stand tall, and the box serves as an eternal seat. This stone asserts that death leads to renewal, and chaos brings order. Still, many questions linger. Why is this place connected to the pyramids and the Sphinx through narrow tunnels? Is it symbolic or part of a secret network? Here, history pauses, it goes deeper, and becomes less straightforward. Unexplained phenomena also add to the intrigue. The cave's acoustics can distort sounds, creating a chorus of whispers. The water is purposefully black, its sludge suggesting something significant. They find foreign rocks like diorite and andesite, which don't come from local quarries. How did they haul these 30 to 40-ton stones through such narrow shafts? The marks on the surfaces indicate precise cutting, not rough chiseling. This shaft isn't a grave, it's a setup for rituals involving stone, sound, water, and light, designed to create a mythical experience. Tiny side tunnels lead to iconic structures in what appears to be a web under the plateau, connecting earth and sky, life and death. Not everyone agrees with this view, some call it a strange burial pit. Yet, rumors persist about advanced methods from before known history. The deeper they explore, the more obstacles they face, with tunnels potentially dangerous. Is this a sacred design or remnants of failed attempts? The real surprise isn't the peaks above, but the complex network beneath. Timeline tangles, history's not. Archaeologists thought they would figure out the riddle, but then the dates confused them. They found second-level bones, pots, and artifacts from the late period, which dates to 500 BCE. This was a good find. However, they also discovered Old Kingdom pieces from 1,700 years earlier. There is no mistake. It's a huge gap. For sarcophagi, thermoluminescence shows one dates back to pyramid times, around 2,800 BCE, while another is from the 5th dynasty. The shaft has no late artifacts. It stretches over years. The most straightforward answer is reuse. The Egyptians recycled sacred sites much like we do with old churches. A crew from the 26th dynasty found this site, digging into the Osiris connection and adding their own stories to older remnants. This makes it even more remarkable. These spots were revered since the dawn of the pyramids. The later references show a continuous sacred connection over thousands of years, making it a mainstay, not just a note in history. Archaeologists want transparent layers, but the shaft has mixed eras like scribbles on a pad. In 2025, Italian radar revealed a vast undercity, but Egypt shut it down. Still, the headlines caught attention. Is the shaft just the tip of the iceberg? No more digging is allowed. Radar and scanning technology can be used without disturbances. 3D simulations recreate sounds from the past, and comparisons investigate connections to Sokar and Osiris. The lab is active and not collecting dust. Uncertainty is the enemy of Egyptology, a field built on the idea of solving mysteries once and for all. The shaft poses more questions, which leads to even more questions. Ritual rig, afterlife gate. Stop calling the shaft a tomb, it's puzzling and strange. Are there no scripts or treasures? No signs from gods? For those interested in the afterlife, this blank space can feel eerie. It's not an empty zone, it's a living ritual. First, consider the sounds. Is there a low chant? It builds into a group of spirits. Are there priests or gods responding? This is not a random event, it's intentional. The echoes feel like a conversation with Osiris. Water plays a key role, similar to the Nile's floods and Osiris's resurrection. Should you enter the box on the island? It represents a journey into the soul's realm. The pillars symbolize the spine of Osiris, providing support. What about the sky? It aligns with Orion and Osiris. This connection links Earth to heaven. The shaft isn't a pit, it's a portal. It mixes stone, sound, water, and light for a mythic experience. Side tunnels lead to important symbols, creating a ritual network, a blend of life and death. Some skeptics may call it a strange funeral, but this notion dismisses the deep-rooted precision of ancient methods and the tools left behind. Floods can bury secrets deep, revealing trapped remnants. Is the math sacred or discarded? What about the treasures below Giza? Please share your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for joining me. I'll have more updates soon.